it's hard to believe we're already midway through the forbidden marriage. The show shows no sign of letting up its frenetic pace as our love triangle gets better fleshed out, with often surprising results. So Rang, Park Hyun, continues to delight as the cheeky yet rational former noblewoman who is starting to have more than fond feelings for King Hyun, Kim Young-dae, who is giving into his own change of heart. But will the dangers of the palace be enough to tear this budding romance apart? Here are 4 moments from the recent episodes that had us rooting for this main couple. Romance has been sizzling between both branches, really all branches, of our lovely trio, and it boiled over last week when So Rang's stalwart bodyguard and former fiancé Lee Shin-won, Kim Woo-sok, pulled her out of Lee Hyun's room before the rest of the court could enact their plan to have So Rang and Lee Hyun get together. As romantic as the gesture was in Shin-won's view, there's no hiding the immediate ramifications of the action. Because it really makes no sense. Shin-won knew that the wedding night had been planned for some time but kept quiet right until the moment itself. Had Lee Hyun known that the entire inner court was trying to get him to spend the night with So Rang, he would have been furious at the manipulation and ordered them to stop, which is why Shin-won's grand entrance to drag So Rang away from Lee Hyun's bedchamber really makes no sense. So Rang is aghast when he tells her that the entire inner court had planned her and Lee Hyun's wedding night, but she's even more bewildered that he believed that she would just go along with the plan when even Lee Hyun had no clue. And Lee Hyun is equally upset and furiously jealous that the man he trusted and valued as his best friend would go and pull something like this without so much as a warning. He rightfully notes that Shin-won doesn't seem to see him as a friend anymore and Shin-won doesn't contest this. Really, dude? Are you really throwing your best friend over for a girl who doesn't like you back? Lee Hyun barely holds onto his sanity as he is in a palace full of enemies and ugly memories, and losing his only best friend pulls out something dark in him as he challenges Shin-won to a battle of swords. Shin-won is reluctant to fight, but then you shouldn't have made a scene and pulled So Rang away. But ends up slicing a piece from Lee Hyun's robes before losing. So Rang has enough of the whole thing and jumps in front of Lee Hyun. But instead of us getting a painful moment where Lee Hyun assumes that she's protecting Shin-won, she says that she's protecting Lee Hyun from himself. And the thing with Lee Hyun is that he admits when he's wrong. So he walks away. Afterwards, he rightfully considers whether Shin-won should face consequences for his actions but is convinced out of it, and the two men agree to put away their rivalry and call it water under the bridge for So Rang's sake and for their own. It's an awkward, painful, but mature point in their friendship. The only strained note is when Lee Hyun asks Shin-won not to fall in love with So Rang. It isn't an order, it's a request. And there's nothing he can do if Shin-won disobeys, and they both know it. But Lee Hyun has made a decision. Now, if only So Rang knew it. So Rang is too astute not to know when she's in a tug-of-war and quickly declines the position. She tells Shin-won that she only wants to be friends with him. There is a telling pause,